Hello there. I hope you're ready to make some coffee drinks. In my short form videos, I do a whole lot of coffee recipe developments. These are fun signature drinks that utilize coffee, much like you'd find on a cafe menu, and make it kind of fun and interesting in different flavor pairings. Usually these end up being pretty elaborate, pretty time intensive, and one of the main comments I get is how can I take these principles and these flavors and make them in a way that is accessible for me at home? Or additionally, to the side of that as well, how can I, as a cafe owner, potentially integrate these into a cafe menu in a way that isn't like 18,000 different ingredients? Today I have 3 drinks that we're gonna be making from start to finish that you can easily make at home or in a cafe. And these are gonna be focused around pretty common coffee flavor pairing. So we're gonna be utilizing a chocolate, we're gonna be using a white chocolate, we're also gonna be looking at a caramel, but we're gonna twist them up a little bit. You'll see. That is the plan. Let's make some coffee drinks. Dun, 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 dun. Now, at the beginning of all of this, I want to give a huge thank you to Ghirardelli for sponsoring today's video. I've had the privilege of working with Ghirardelli several times in the past few years, but most recently, we did a collaboration at the Specialty Coffee Association Expo where we did a full service of a really special signature beverage called the Reverse S'mores Mocha. This is a drink that was a big hit. It was super, super tasty. And if you would like the recipe to that, I will have that in the description down below. So while we are making 3 drinks today, it's kind of a 2 for 1 or a 4 for 3 offering. But regardless, let's get started. Our first drink is going to be built around the flavor of caramel. For all of these drinks, I have intentionally not given them names because I want you to choose the name. So as we go along this process, feel free to comment down below what you would call these, and I will pick some of those to be the actual names. But this one is going to be a hot drink, and this is going to be based around filter coffee. So no need for an espresso machine on this one. Additionally, I mentioned that this drink is going to be based around the flavor of caramel. So to begin our drink, we need some caramel sauce. It is a strange and unusual power to have access to pump sauces in my own studio. Regardless, to begin this off, into our serving glass, which is roughly about 12 ounces, we're gonna be adding about 3/4 ounces of Ghirardelli's premium caramel sauce. Now to this, I'm gonna add about 10 ounces of brewed coffee. This is filter coffee. If you are brewing for this drink, I would recommend using more of a medium, like chocolate forward profile. And because I am the way that I am, I'm going to eyeball this. You want to give about 3/4 inch of headroom on the top here. Then you stir, preferably with an extra long spoon. And now we are going to build what is going to be a foam that sits on top of our coffee mixture. Now we're gonna make our cold foam that is gonna sit on top of our hot caramel coffee. It's very difficult to say. This cold foam is gonna be like a spiced cold foam with a hint of caramel in there, just for like a little touch of sweetness. Now, I did one of the steps we're gonna do in advance already, so we have the final product, but let me walk you through everything. So, into a vessel that you can store in the fridge. Okay, into a vessel, I'm adding about 6 ounces of heavy cream. This will make enough for a couple servings. Additionally, this like infused cream we're making will last for a little bit in your fridge. To this cream, I'm adding 2 cinnamon sticks. These will kind of be a little bit buoyant, so just kind of press them down, but it's fine. And additionally, some star anise. Then cover this and put this in your fridge for like 5 to 6 hours. Did this already, so I already have our infused cream. Lovely, delicious, warming spices in here, very fragrant. Now to our mixing vessel, I'm gonna add about 1 ounce of our infused cream. 1 ounce. Next up, I'm gonna add 1 ounce of coconut cream. Coconut cream is tricky and likes to separate often. Don't worry if it's like a little bit gloopy when you add it. We'll be mixing these two together and everything will smooth out in the process. The coconut cream is both for like kind of a richer, more dimensional flavor. And additionally, if you were just frothing up like heavy cream, it's very easy to overdo it and get to the whipped cream stage before you get to like the foam phase. So by adding the coconut cream, it kind of helps thin it out a little bit and it makes it a little bit easier to work with. And additionally, I'm gonna add like a tiny amount of caramel, just so we have a tiny bit of sweetness in this and it isn't all just cream. Just a hint. Now you can dry shake this to reach the appropriate level of froth, which is kind of like when it's doubled in size. I find it a little bit easier and more accessible to be using a hand frother. So just froth it cold until it's about doubled. It will make lots of fun gloopy sounds. All right, usually that frothing process takes about 30 to 45 seconds. Now to layer this on top, we're gonna take a nice large spoon, place it right at the surface, and slowly pour in our cold foam. If you have added enough air in the frothing process, it should sit pretty nicely on top without falling down into the drink. Now, give this long enough, let it sit for a while. Of course, that cream will start to drift into everything else, but the goal here is to have a nice cool layer that we're sipping through to get to the warm layer. Okay, we definitely could be done here. However, to complement kind of the spiced flavors in there and the caramel, I'm gonna add a little bit of citrus. So get yourself, fling yourself a nice bit of orange peel and just express that over top. Very nice. You can kind of set this to the side as a little garnish if you'd like. So this is a spiced caramel something, whatever you would like to call it. Let's have a sip, but we do have a couple more coffee drinks to make. It's pretty dang tasty. Okay, let's move on to our next drinks. All right, now on the day I am filming this, it is pretty dang toasty outside, so I am very excited for this drink. This is gonna be an iced raspberry mocha. For this one, we are using Ghirardelli's sweet ground dark chocolate and cocoa powder. Let's just get started. Okay, so for this one, we are also making our own raspberry syrup. But this is a very easy syrup because with raspberries, I don't necessarily love the flavor of them in syrups when they've been stewed and cooked down. So we're gonna make a pretty easy 2-ingredient cold raspberry syrup. Right here, let me look at my notes. I have about 175 grams of raspberries, and then to it, I'm gonna add about 60 grams of just cane sugar. Now I have accidentally chosen myself a very small bowl. Now, if you have a muddler, you can use that as well, but just with the back of a spoon, I'm gonna kind of lightly crush down these raspberries. Not a ton, just so they aren't fully intact anymore. And while I do that, I'm gonna kind of mix that sugar in, really just looking to make sure the raspberries have begun to break down a tiny bit. Just get them a little jammy, which will help speed along the next step of the process. Once these are appropriately muddled, all you need to do is cover them up and put them in your fridge. Now you can see results of this process in as little as 6 to 8 hours. I would give this 12 hours in your fridge. So make it the night before and you'll have it the following morning. But if you just put these 2 ingredients in the fridge for a while, what you get is something very delicious. So I made this batch yesterday. I'm gonna strain it out. I'll show you what we have. All right, I'm gonna do this as carefully as I can, but you all know my track record with stuff like this. Okay, that was not so bad. I'm just gonna kind of use a spoon to help along this process. What you'll be left with here on the top are just mostly your solids and your seeds from the raspberries. These are of course sweetened, they're still very good to use. You can kind of use them in replacement of jam, you can use them in granola, really the world is your oyster with these. Now you can keep working these through as long as you want. However, we have enough for our purposes, so I'll set this off to the side. Now what we have here is a really delicious, crisp and bright raspberry syrup where we haven't lost a lot of that kind of raspberry tang due to the fact that we haven't stewed this down. So this is gonna shine really, really nicely with our dark chocolate. Now, the rest of our assembly is pretty easy. I'm basically gonna be splitting the amount of overall syrup I would use with the raspberry syrup and our dark chocolate. Okay, into our glass, I'm adding about 15 grams of our raspberry syrup. Now with our dark chocolate and cocoa sweet ground powder, I'm gonna be going in with about 20 grams. Now this is a powder, so don't worry, we're not gonna deal with mixing this just yet. This is a powder that emulsifies super well when you have heat added to it. So I'm gonna go pull a nice fresh double shot of espresso and we'll mix everything together. Be right back. All right, double shot of espresso in our glass. Then once more, I do demand you stir with a very long spoon. And give this like 10 to 15 seconds of stirring. You'll see that powder and raspberry all come together in a very nice combination. Okay, let me go grab some ice. At this point, you can add whatever type of milk you prefer. I personally find that oat milk goes really, really nicely with this, but just for the sake of like aesthetics, we're gonna use some whole milk. This is probably gonna be about 5 ounces of whole milk in total. Now, you can simply stir and enjoy this, or you could also give this a nice little raspberry garnish on the top here. All right, this is our iced raspberry dark chocolate mocha. Pretty easy to make. These syrup ingredients are pretty simple, make ahead of time, and then you can just kind of batch these out to all your friends that you're having over for a garden party, because I really think that is the application of this drink. But regardless, we have one more to make, so let me go get our next tray. And let's make our last drink. Now for this last one, I probably shouldn't be as excited for it as I am. But really, I don't get to work in like the frozen drink category very often. So this was a fun one to ideate, and I think it turned out really nicely. Now this one, if you can read the front of our container here, is gonna be based around the flavor of white chocolate. This is the white mocha frappe mix from Ghirardelli. We're gonna be making a fun tropical white mocha. Bear with me here. This might sound strange, but it is very, very tasty. So let me get a scale, because we gotta weigh out some things. Okay, this is gonna be in total probably about 2 like small drink servings or 1 very large one, no judgment. For this drink, we are starting with 90 grams or half a cup, I believe, of our frappe mix. And it's nice, because this really does a lot of the heavy lifting for us. I'm very appreciative to not have to make this up myself. Now into this, we're gonna add 125 mils of milk. Now you could use whole milk, of course, for this. I'm actually using coconut milk because I think it goes really, really nicely in all this. One thing I will note is I am using a Barista Series coconut milk. So that means it is a lot more intact, like it remains intact of a coconut milk. There is a higher, more precise fat content in it that allows it to accept like heat and air and pair with coffee. And so within this frappe mix, it works really, really nicely and doesn't water it down. But again, use what you'd like. Then I'm adding 25 mils of pineapple juice. This is where I may have lost some of you, but trust me, white chocolate, creamy, tropical, not quite a pina colada, but like it's leaning that direction. That's the vibe we're going for. To really mix things up, I'm gonna add a tiny amount of almond extract. This is like 1 or 2 drops in total. A couple drops of that. And then once more, I need some ice. In goes 200 grams of ice cubes. And all we have left to do is blend. Sorry everyone, this might be a little bit loud. It doesn't matter how many times I blend something, there's always something in me that says I need to like hang on to the top the entire way through. All right, into a cup we go. I'm using a spoon because you all know my propensity to spilling things. Okay, we could be done here, but once more, I had a garnish idea. So I'm gonna take some fresh mint, give it a whack just to get those oils going. Kind of pluck that right in the top there. Now we could sip this, of course. Oh, this is tasty. I'm gonna get a straw. Now truly, I think this is the one that I am most interested in you all naming, because this is basically half white mocha, half pina colada. What that means as far as what it's called, who knows? Anyone's game here. That is pretty nice. All right, and these are our 3 drinks. Once more, to remind you all, utilizing the flavor profile of caramel, we have a caramel coffee with a spiced cold foam on top. Then, using our dark chocolate and cocoa, we have our raspberry dark chocolate mocha. Then, lastly, we have our lovely thing that I want to drink more of very badly right now. We have our blended white mocha frappe that is a bit tropical, a bit fun, very exciting. All of these, I think you could very easily serve at a summer garden party. Now, if you would like to check out any of the Ghirardelli products used in these drinks, as well as any more of their wide-ranging options, because there is a world of Ghirardelli flavor out there, you can find those at your local restaurant or coffee supply store or ghirardelli.com/professional. A huge thanks to them for sponsoring this video, and I hope you all get to try these drinks at home yourself. My name is Morgan. You can find me here on YouTube once a week, plus YouTube Shorts. Additionally, you can find me on TikTok or Instagram almost every single day. So I'm actually gonna take this one. Again, I don't get blended drinks very often. I'm gonna go enjoy this, and I'll see you next time. Have a good day, everyone.